What if we could step into an alien city, not just in a movie or a video game, but a real, living metropolis on another world? How would it look? More importantly, how would it function? Would it stretch upward into the sky like our skyscrapers, or expand outward in ways we can't even begin to imagine? For centuries, humanity has been captivated by the idea of life beyond Earth. We don't just wonder what aliens might look like, we dream about the worlds they've built. Their homes, their architecture, even the ways they might solve problems we're still struggling with here on Earth. But this isn't just about satisfying our curiosity. Exploring how alien cities might take shape pushes the boundaries of our own creativity, offering us fresh ideas for rethinking everything from urban planning to sustainable living. In this video, we'll dive deep into what extraterrestrial architecture could teach us. We'll explore how the unique environments of distant planets might shape city designs, how alien cultures could influence the way buildings interact with society, and what futuristic technologies might make it all possible. By imagining these otherworldly cities, we're not just looking outward, we're finding new ways to innovate here on Earth. So, let's begin our journey by considering the most fundamental question: how do alien environments create the blueprint for their cities? Imagine a planet with crushing gravity, where every step feels like carrying the weight of an entire car, or a world covered entirely by oceans with cities submerged beneath relentless waves. Maybe even a planet wreathed in a toxic atmosphere where the very air is a deadly soup of chemicals. These are not just the dreamy musings of science fiction, they're the kinds of extreme environments that could exist on countless exoplanets across the galaxy. And if intelligent alien civilizations were to thrive in such places, their architecture would need to be far more than just functional. It would be a matter of survival. Let's take a closer look at a high-gravity planet. Here on Earth, gravity influences every aspect of our building designs, from structural reinforcement to the height of skyscrapers. But on a planet with far stronger gravity, materials would face far greater stress, so conventional Earth-like construction might not even be possible. Instead, alien architects might turn to squat, dome-like structures that hug the ground to avoid collapse under intense pressure. Or perhaps they develop entirely new materials. Imagine ultra-light, super-strong alloys, or even biological materials that flex and adapt under strain. Some scientists even propose that high-gravity civilizations might rely on underground cities, where natural rock layers provide added support, forming a striking contrast to our own preference for towering skylines. Now, let's dive into the depths of a water world. Picture an alien city suspended beneath an endless ocean, where buildings are designed not just to withstand water pressure, but to blend seamlessly into a fluid environment. Here, buoyancy could replace traditional foundations, and structures might be biomimetic, taking inspiration from marine life to create buildings that sway gently with currents instead of resisting them. Imagine glowing coral-like cities that generate their own light, powered by bioluminescence. It's not just practical, it's a chance for architecture to mirror the beauty of nature in breathtaking ways. Entire civilizations might live in self-contained air pockets within floating ecosystems, combining cutting-edge engineering with a profound understanding of their planet's unique rhythms. But what about a world with a toxic atmosphere? Here, stepping outside might be as dangerous as walking into a blazing inferno. In such a scenario, alien cities would likely be enclosed within massive, climate-controlled biodomes. These domes wouldn't just be shields from danger, they'd be independent ecosystems, recycling air, water, and nutrients in a closed loop. It's a concept that already has roots in human designs, like Earth's experimental biospheres, but scaled up to unimaginable proportions. Alien architects might incorporate advanced chemical filtration systems and materials capable of neutralizing or repelling toxic gases. From an aesthetic standpoint, such cities could be dazzling, with transparent shells offering panoramic views of their hostile surroundings while maintaining a strict boundary between life and danger. Experts in astrobiology and engineering suggest that even the chemical composition of a planet could redefine what we think architecture can be. On a planet rich in methane or ammonia, for instance, construction might rely on frozen materials or unique chemical bonding processes that Earth-based builders could never dream of. Structures might even evolve over time, growing like plants as they react to environmental changes. So, how might architecture double as a survival tool in these extreme conditions? It's clear that on alien worlds, buildings wouldn't just provide shelter, they'd integrate seamlessly into the planet's ecosystems, offering resilience against harsh environments while enabling life to flourish. Yet, this all leads to a fascinating question. How might the biological traits of alien life forms themselves influence their architecture? Would beings that swim rather than walk, or beings accustomed to living in caves rather than open fields, create cities just as unique as their physiology? Let's explore that idea next. Now, let's take a moment to consider how alien biology might shape the very fabric of their cities. If intelligent life elsewhere is as diverse as the ecosystems here on Earth, their physiology, how they move, perceive the world, and interact with their environment would radically influence the scale, layout, and even the aesthetics of their urban designs. Imagine a city built not by humans with our upright walk and binocular vision, but by species whose bodies and senses challenge everything we know about space and structure. Let's start with the simplest idea, height. A species significantly taller or shorter than humans would create cities that feel alien to us in the most immediate, visceral sense. A city designed by a species towering 20 feet tall might feature colossal doorways, wide open streets, and buildings with sweeping, grandiose interiors, more like giant caverns than cozy, human-scale rooms. On the other end of the spectrum, imagine a species the size of small animals. Their cities might appear, at first glance, more like intricate nests or sprawling hives, with narrow passageways and densely packed chambers optimized for tiny inhabitants. From a human perspective, these cities might seem chaotic, even claustrophobic, but for their creators, they'd reflect perfect efficiency and comfort. Now picture a civilization of flyers, beings with wings who experience the world through three-dimensional mobility. Their cities might look less like traditional grids of streets and more like vertical clusters, stretching skyward in every direction. Roads might be replaced by soaring pathways of open air, while buildings could have platforms, landing pads, and aerial corridors instead of conventional entrances. Imagine cascading towers where movement happens in all directions, not limited by stairs or elevators, but by the freedom of flight and the aesthetic. It might be light and ethereal, with flowing structures that complement the open skies, blending seamlessly with the horizon. What about aquatic species whose entire existence might revolve around life beneath the surface? Their cities could be built into coral reefs or crafted from translucent materials that allow for the play of sunlight through water. Instead of walls and ceilings as we know them, their structures might use flowing, organic shapes that mimic ocean currents. Movement between spaces might involve weaving through underwater tunnels or swimming freely between open, interconnected spaces. The concept of up and down could become irrelevant, with their designs utilizing three-dimensional volumes in ways that are impossible for land-based beings. And here's a truly fascinating thought. What if alien species rely on an entirely different set of senses? For example, creatures that use echolocation, like bats or dolphins, might design their cities with sound in mind. Their architecture could be shaped to create specific echoes or vibrations that help them navigate, communicate, and locate objects. buildings might feature curved surfaces and acoustic chambers, resulting in designs that feel almost musical in nature. Similarly, a species with infrared vision could create glowing cities, where structures pulse with heat patterns invisible to our eyes but rich in meaning to theirs. Their urban environments might feel eerie to us, bathed in darkness yet alive with thermal energy that serves as their primary mode of interaction. If we go further, imagine a species with multi-limbed, spider-like mobility able to climb as easily as we walk. For them, skyscrapers might not be limited to narrow vertical towers but could spread outward in every direction, forming vast web-like structures that maximize surface area. Pathways could crisscross between buildings at dizzying angles, making use of their ability to traverse nearly any surface. To us, this might look disorienting, but from their perspective, such intricate networks could be the most natural way to build a city. The possibilities are endless, but these examples reveal something crucial. The biology of a species isn't just a detail, it's the foundation of how they would shape their surroundings. And yet, biology is only one piece of the puzzle. A city isn't just a collection of buildings, it reflects a culture's values, priorities, and way of life. What happens when we consider how alien societies and their unique worldviews might define the purpose and organization of urban spaces? Let's explore that next. When we think of a city, what comes to mind isn't just its buildings or layout, it's the feeling it embodies, the story it tells about the people who live there. Cities are physical reflections of culture, values, and priorities, shaped as much by societal structures and ideologies as by pure necessity. So, if we imagine alien civilizations, their architecture wouldn't just be a response to their environment or biology. It would be a living, breathing expression of who they are as a society. Consider a civilization deeply rooted in democratic principles. Their cities might prioritize open, communal spaces, massive plazas where citizens gather to debate, vote, or celebrate. Buildings could be low and accessible, designed to foster equality and encourage interaction. Imagine an alien agora with amphitheater-like forums for public discourse, surrounded by transparent structures symbolizing openness in governance. The very layout of the city might be circular, emphasizing inclusivity and unity, with no one point of power dominating the landscape. Contrast this with a deeply hierarchical society, where power and status are visibly etched into the skyline. Their cities might consist of towering spires, each rising higher to reflect levels of authority or prestige. The elite could live at the very top, closer to the stars, while the lower tiers serve as hubs for labor or the working classes. Such cities might be organized in a way that reinforces this stratification, perhaps with limited access to certain areas or towering monuments that constantly remind citizens of their place within the social order. These vertical urban landscapes wouldn't just be functional, they'd be a physical manifestation of the civilization's worldview. Then there's the possibility of collectivist cultures where the individual is secondary to the goals of the group. Here, cities might resemble sprawling hives or nests, with interconnected living spaces designed for maximum efficiency and cooperation. Picture domed chambers that flow organically into shared resource hubs, with no clear division between personal and public spaces. Even the city's aesthetics might reflect a sense of unity, with uniform designs that blur the line between individual contributions and the collective identity. In these societies, architecture could prioritize function over form, creating environments that emphasize harmony and shared purpose. But what if a society's highest priority is spiritual or artistic expression? Their cities might look less like urban centers and more like sprawling temples or galleries, each structure a monumental tribute to their beliefs or creative achievements. Imagine a civilization that worships cosmic phenomena like supernovas or black holes. their cities might be shaped to mimic celestial patterns with spiraling designs that stretch toward the skies. Buildings could glow with bioluminescent lights shimmering like distant stars. Or consider a species that holds art as sacred. They might design their architecture to be ever-changing, dynamic forms that shift and evolve with time, powered by advanced materials that grow or reshape themselves to reflect new ideas. The concept of sustainability could also dominate alien architectural priorities. For a species focused on living in harmony with their environment, their cities might not be constructed in the traditional sense at all. Instead, they could be grown organic structures that are part of the planet's ecosystem rather than separate from it. Imagine entire cities made of living, breathing material, capable of self-repair and adaptation, blending seamlessly into the natural world. These cities might be powered by renewable energy sources, designed to recycle and regenerate resources perpetually, offering a glimpse into what true environmental integration could look like. Sociologists and anthropologists have long noted how human societies mirror their values in their physical spaces. Just as medieval cathedrals reflected a fixation on divine connection, or modern skyscrapers symbolize power and ambition, alien architecture would undoubtedly do the same. Yet, their cultures could prioritize things entirely unfamiliar to us, perhaps a cosmic sense of time that leads to cities built to last for millennia, or a desire for constant expansion that results in sprawling, ever-growing metropolises stretching across entire continents. This interplay of culture and architecture raises an exciting question. How would alien technology amplify these ideas? Would their advancements allow them to defy gravity, manipulate matter at the molecular level, or even design buildings that are conscious in some way? Let's explore how technological breakthroughs could redefine what's possible in extraterrestrial architecture. When it comes to advanced alien technologies, the possibilities for city design go far beyond anything we've ever imagined. While human cities are still largely constrained by gravity, finite materials, and traditional energy sources, alien civilizations with access to far more advanced science and engineering could break free from these limitations. Their cities might look more like dynamic, living organisms than static settlements, constantly evolving and adapting to their environment. Let's dive into how technologies like self-assembling nanotech, anti-gravity systems, and advanced energy sources could redefine urban design on an alien world. Imagine an alien city where buildings literally build themselves. Self-assembling nanotechnology, microscopic machines programmed to connect and organize into larger structures, could make this a reality. Such technology could allow alien civilizations to construct entire cities in a matter of days or even hours without the need for human-like labor or traditional machinery. Picture this, a vast plain that suddenly erupts with shimmering towers as trillions of nanobots work in harmony to create a fully functional metropolis. These structures wouldn't be static either. With nanotech, buildings could morph and reshape themselves to meet the needs of their inhabitants, expanding during population booms or reconfiguring to optimize sunlight and airflow. A theater could turn into a research facility overnight, or a residential building could split into smaller units depending on demand. To us, this might look like magic, but for an advanced civilization, it might be a fundamental part of city planning. Then there's the question of gravity or lack thereof. Advanced anti-gravity technology could revolutionize how alien cities interact with space. Instead of being limited to the ground, buildings could float effortlessly, perhaps suspended in mid-air like islands in the sky. This could be especially useful on planets with inhospitable surfaces, such as volcanic worlds or those covered in toxic gases. Floating cities could hover above danger, tethered only by advanced energy systems or free to drift along currents in the atmosphere. Imagine a skyline not bound by Earth like rules of stability, with structures that move gracefully through the air, adjusting their position to avoid storms or to align with optimal sunlight. These floating cities might even extend into outer space, with platforms that serve as hubs between planetary atmospheres and orbiting colonies. Speaking of energy, an alien society far more advanced than our own would likely harness energy sources that make fossil fuels and even our most cutting-edge renewables seem primitive. Some experts theorize that advanced civilizations could tap into the energy of their own stars, essentially building structures that function like massive solar panels on a planetary scale. Known as Dyson spheres or Dyson swarms, these systems could collect and store unimaginable amounts of energy, enough to power not only cities but entire worlds. A city powered directly by starlight wouldn't just be energy efficient. It could be alive with light, glowing softly at night as it draws power straight from its nearest star. Other energy technologies, like controlled fusion or dark matter reactors, could eliminate the need for fossil fuels entirely, allowing cities to run indefinitely without depleting their planet's resources. But what might be even more fascinating is the idea of buildings and cities that adapt themselves to their environments. Imagine a structure constructed from smart materials, substances that can sense changes in temperature, humidity, or air quality and automatically adjust in response. An alien city in a desert might feature buildings that expand to provide shade during the day and contract to retain heat at night. In a stormy climate, structures might shift their shapes to minimize wind resistance or even absorb and store rainwater for later use. These adaptive technologies could make cities completely self-sufficient, maintaining optimal living conditions regardless of external factors. With these advancements, traditional materials like steel and concrete might become relics of the past. Why rely on rigid, static substances when you can create structures that are flexible, self-healing, or even alive? Imagine cities constructed from bioengineered materials that grow and repair themselves just like living tissue. These buildings could be part of their planet's ecosystem, absorbing carbon dioxide, purifying water, or even producing food for their inhabitants. It's the ultimate fusion of technology and nature, a way to build not just sustainably but symbiotically. This brings us to an important point. While these technologies are undeniably thrilling, they wouldn't just be used to create convenience or aesthetic beauty. For many alien civilizations, the ultimate goal might be harmony with their environment. Cities that coexist with nature rather than dominating it could be a hallmark of advanced societies, where technology is used to preserve and enhance ecosystems instead of destroying them. But how far could this integration go? Could there be cities so deeply intertwined with their environment that the line between natural and artificial disappears entirely? Let's explore that next. Picture a city that doesn't stand apart from its environment but feels like an organic extension of it. A place where every building, every pathway, and even the energy systems are deeply intertwined with the planet's natural rhythms. This might sound like a utopian vision, but for an advanced alien civilization, it could be reality. On worlds where ecosystems thrive in delicate balance, alien cities might evolve to mirror and integrate with their surroundings, creating habitats that are not only self-sustaining but actively beneficial to the environment. Imagine cities that aren't just places to live, they're living things themselves. For instance, alien architecture could mimic natural processes in ways that make human design seem primitive by comparison. Think of photosynthesis, the process plants use to convert sunlight into energy. An alien city might feature biostructures, buildings made of living material that absorb sunlight during the day and convert it into energy for the city. Walls might be alive, covered in photosynthetic organisms or bioengineered materials that capture carbon dioxide while releasing oxygen, turning the city into a massive, breathable oasis. At night, these same structures might glow with bioluminescent light, illuminating the streets with a soft, natural glow that eliminates the need for electricity-based lighting. Now take this integration a step further. What if alien cities didn't just coexist with nature but actively grew from it? Imagine urban landscapes designed like forests, where buildings grow from the ground like trees, their roots drawing nutrients and water from the soil while their canopies provide shelter and regulate temperature. These tree cities could be entirely self-sufficient, harvesting water from rainfall, producing food through vertical farms integrated into their branches, and recycling organic waste into nutrients. The city itself could function as a closed-loop ecosystem where nothing is wasted and every process supports life. Futurists and ecologists on Earth have already proposed concepts like bio-inspired architecture, where human cities learn from the efficiency of nature. But an alien civilization could take this to an entirely new level. Instead of merely imitating nature, their cities might operate as part of a planetary superorganism, a vast, interconnected network where every building, road, and system works in harmony with the planet's ecosystems. Picture a city where the transportation system isn't powered by fossil fuels or electricity, but by wind or kinetic energy harvested from the movement of its inhabitants, much like the way some plants convert the motion of the wind into mechanical energy. Or imagine a city that communicates with forests, rivers, and oceans through advanced sensors, adjusting its energy use, water flow, and waste processing in real time to maintain perfect environmental balance. One fascinating idea is that alien cities could evolve over time, much like living organisms. Instead of being fixed in form, they might adapt to changing climate conditions, population shifts, or new discoveries. Buildings could literally grow, expand, or shrink as needed, using advanced materials that mimic the growth patterns of plants or coral reefs. For example, in response to rising temperatures, a city might sprout reflective leaves that cool its surfaces. Or during a resource shortage, structures might temporarily go dormant, conserving energy until conditions improve. But this isn't just about function, it's about aesthetic beauty as well. Alien civilizations might see their cities not as rigid, utilitarian spaces, but as opportunities for creative expression. A city that grows like a forest might be designed with the same artistic care as a sprawling sculpture, blending natural and artificial elements into something breathtaking. The bioluminescent glow of their buildings might mimic the constellations above, creating a seamless connection between the heavens and their home. Pathways could follow the curves and flows of rivers, designed to evoke harmony with the natural world rather than impose order upon it. Some ecologists suggest that such bio-integrated cities could even inspire us here on Earth. By observing how alien civilizations minimize their environmental impact and blend creativity with sustainability, we might find solutions to some of our greatest challenges. After all, if intelligent life elsewhere can live as one with their world, why can't we? This brings us to the final, fascinating layer of alien urban design: how their unique cultural creativity could transform their cities into not only functional habitats but profound statements of identity and artistry. Let's explore how alien civilizations might express themselves through awe-inspiring urban designs. When we think of cities, we often focus on their function, how they house people, facilitate movement, and support daily life. But what if a civilization prioritized beauty and artistic expression just as much as practicality? Imagine alien cities that are not just places to live and work, but are, in themselves, masterpieces of art. These cities might be designed to inspire awe, serve as cultural canvases, or even reflect the philosophical principles of the species that built them. For some alien civilizations, the line between functionality and artistry could blur entirely, creating urban environments that feel more like walking through a symphony or a living piece of sculpture. Take, for example, the possibility of shimmering crystalline cities. Picture an alien world where buildings are not made of stone or concrete but grow like crystals, their forms shaped by the natural properties of alien minerals. These structures could refract light in dazzling ways, bathing the city in rainbows during the day and glowing softly at night as they release stored energy. The architecture might embrace fluid, asymmetrical designs with towers and arches that twist and spiral like frozen bursts of energy. Such a city could evoke an overwhelming sense of wonder, as though every street and skyline were meant to remind its inhabitants of the beauty of their existence. Now imagine a civilization that sees buildings not as static objects but as dynamic forms of expression. Their cities might feature vibrant, fluid-like designs where structures appear to flow and ripple like liquid. This could be achieved through advanced materials that respond to movement, temperature, or even the emotions of those nearby. Picture a plaza where the walls ripple like waves when crowds gather, or a tower that changes color to reflect the emotional energy of the day. Soft blues for calm mornings, fiery reds during moments of celebration. These alien cities wouldn't just be functional, they would tell a story, adapting and changing to reflect the collective mood and experiences of their people. Some alien civilizations might even weave sound and art into their architecture, making their cities not just visually stunning but sensorially immersive. Imagine living in a city where buildings themselves create music, a dome that resonates with harmonic frequencies as the wind passes through, or pathways that hum and vibrate with every step. Public spaces might feature interactive art installations where the walls ripple with patterns and colors as inhabitants pass by. These cities might view art not as something separate from life, but as a core element of existence, ensuring that every moment spent within their borders feels like an act of creativity. It's worth considering how alien aesthetic principles might differ entirely from those on Earth. Humans often value symmetry, balance, and proportion in our architecture, whether it's the intricate curves of Art Nouveau or the stark, geometric clarity of modernist styles. But what if alien cultures valued something else entirely? Perhaps they might celebrate randomness and imperfection, creating cities that feel chaotic and alive, with no two buildings ever looking alike. Or maybe their designs are based on principles we haven't even imagined, like structures that reflect the motion of stars, the ebb and flow of time, or even abstract mathematical patterns that are incomprehensible to us. To them, what we see as beauty might seem ordinary, while their designs could feel alien and disorienting to human eyes. Earth's architectural movements provide fascinating parallels. Art Nouveau, for instance, with its flowing, organic forms inspired by nature, might feel right at home on an alien world where cities grow like forests. On the other hand, brutalism, with its bold, raw structures, could inspire alien civilizations with a taste for minimalist grandeur. But it's also worth imagining styles that go beyond earthly movements, a civilization that constructs glittering cities in orbit, where the void of space itself becomes part of the aesthetic experience, or one that builds underground labyrinths that glow with cascading bioluminescent patterns, creating endless networks of glowing artistry. This raises an intriguing question. Would alien societies prioritize beauty over practicality, or find innovative ways to merge the two? Would their cities evolve as their culture grows, with each generation adding new layers of expression? Imagine a city that transforms over centuries, absorbing the artistic contributions of each era, an ever-changing tapestry of creativity. These urban spaces wouldn't just adapt to technological advancements, but would reflect the emotional and cultural evolution of the species itself. And isn't that a fascinating thought? A city not just as a structure, but as a living record of the values, emotions, and aspirations of its inhabitants. From crystalline skylines to cities that sing with the wind, the possibilities are endless. But how might these alien cities be sustained over time, ensuring that they continue to grow and adapt while remaining in harmony with their environments? Let's explore how alien cities might evolve and regenerate as their civilizations progress. The evolution of alien cities over millennia would likely be as dynamic and complex as the civilizations that built them, reflecting not only technological progress but also cultural shifts and environmental challenges. Imagine a city that's not static but alive, an organism that grows, adapts, and even heals itself. Advanced alien societies might construct entire urban areas out of bioengineered materials that evolve alongside their inhabitants, responding to changing needs without requiring demolition or reconstruction. A residential block could grow additional levels for a population boom or reshape itself into a park as spaces for living become unneeded. These cities could blur the line between biology and technology, becoming living entities that thrive symbiotically with their environments. But what about civilizations that view preservation as a cultural cornerstone? Their cities might last for thousands of years, continuously renewed and repurposed. Instead of tearing down old structures, alien societies could integrate them into new ones, creating layers of history that future generations could inhabit and reimagine. Think of a single building that transforms from a temple to a data archive to eventually being a museum, all while retaining fragments of its previous identities. This concept is not alien to us. Here on Earth, cities like Rome or Athens have continuously reinvented themselves while carefully preserving echoes of their ancient past. For aliens with access to superior materials and energy sources, these cities could be sustained indefinitely, becoming timeless tapestries of their civilization's journey. But on the other side of this spectrum lies a more haunting possibility: ruins of deserted alien cities. What happens when a civilization disappears, leaving behind their monumental creations? Picture a colossal alien metropolis, now silent and overgrown, its advanced constructs partially reclaimed by nature. These cities might serve as eerie memorials, filled with unanswered questions about the fate of their builders. For example, just as we look to ancient Earth wonders like the pyramids of Egypt or the abandoned city of Machu Picchu for insight into early human civilizations, alien ruins could offer clues about their culture, achievements, and what ultimately led to their decline. Were these cities abandoned due to environmental collapse, interstellar migration, or something we can't yet comprehend? Archaeologists studying alien ruins might rely on architectural remnants to piece together stories of civilizations long gone. They'd analyze every detail: the materials used, the structural designs, and even the orientation of the buildings. Was the city designed with astronomical alignments, as we see with Earth's ancient structures? Were its layouts indicative of a peaceful society with shared communal spaces, or of conflict with defensive fortifications? Each piece of alien architecture could serve as a chapter in the story of an extinct species, revealing not just how they lived but what they valued and why they vanished. Experts in astrobiology and architecture often speculate that, just as on Earth, alien cities would reflect their society's relationship with their environment. Civilizations that thrived on sustainability might leave behind cities that harmonized with nature structures that over time became one with their ecosystems. Others, however, may have depleted their planet's resources, leaving crumbling, desolate landscapes as a warning to anyone who might discover them. This idea of longevity and transformation brings to mind an inevitable question: how might our own cities appear to spacefaring archaeologists millions of years from now? Will they find thriving megacities, still adapting to the challenges of a changing world? Or will they stumble upon the ruins of once great metropolises? Alien cities serve as more than a thought experiment. They force us to reflect on our own relationship with urbanization, sustainability, and legacy. By imagining the evolution of alien cities, we're not just looking outward, we're learning about the arcs of civilizations, the intersection of innovation and environment, and how architecture becomes a lasting imprint of identity. Whether these cities are living ecosystems, continuous canvases of reinvention, or long-forgotten ruins, they underscore something profoundly universal: the desire to create spaces that endure, adapt, and tell the story of those who once called them home. As we close this exploration, we see how alien architecture offers more than just visions of the extraordinary. It invites us to reflect on our own cities, our shared future, and the boundless creativity of civilizations yet unknown. What can we learn from imagining alien cities? At first glance, it might seem like an exercise in fantasy, an otherworldly thought experiment far removed from the challenges we face on Earth. But when we look closer, envisioning alien architecture is about much more than speculative creativity. It's a way to reimagine our own urban future, to explore bold solutions to the problems that modern cities are struggling with today. Overpopulation, sustainability, resource management, these are not just distant concerns. They're challenges we're facing right now, and the extreme, unearthly ideas that come from imagining life on other planets might hold the key to unlocking innovative solutions here on Earth. Take modular, self-sustaining architecture as an example. Many speculative ideas about alien cities involve buildings that are adaptable structures that grow, shrink, or change purpose as the needs of their inhabitants evolve. Imagine how that could revolutionize urban living on Earth. A modular building designed for a growing community could expand floor space or add new units in response to population surges, eliminating the need for sprawling construction projects. Self-sustaining features like integrated vertical farms or systems that recycle water and waste on site could reduce reliance on external resources, making cities more resilient against supply chain disruptions. These are not ideas exclusive to alien worlds. They're concepts that could redefine how we approach urban living in a world increasingly impacted by climate change and resource scarcity. And then there's the inspiration we can draw from how alien cities might coexist with their environments. Out of necessity, civilizations on distant planets would have to carefully integrate their architecture with their ecosystems. Whether it's underwater cities designed to flow with ocean currents, or structures on high-gravity worlds designed to minimize stress on materials, alien designs teach us the importance of harmony between urban spaces and nature. On Earth, where urban expansion often comes at the cost of natural ecosystems, we could embrace this philosophy. Cities could incorporate more green spaces into their design, use bioengineered materials that mimic natural processes, and ensure that every structure not only serves human needs but also supports local ecosystems. Imagine urban landscapes where buildings actively clean the air, generate renewable energy, and provide habitats for plants and animals, a far cry from the concrete jungles of today. Speculative alien architecture also challenges us to think beyond the limits of our current technology. For instance, the idea of floating cities like those that might hover above toxic atmospheres on alien worlds could spark innovation in how we build on Earth. As rising sea levels threaten coastal cities, could we adapt technologies for buoyant, low-impact urban centers that float rather than sink? Likewise, the concept of biomimetic buildings, designed to function like living organisms, might pave the way for new materials that are stronger, lighter, and environmentally friendly. By imagining how extraterrestrial civilizations might solve extreme problems, we push the boundaries of our own creativity and technological advancements. But perhaps the most profound lesson alien cities teach us is that cities are more than just places to live. they are reflections of the values and aspirations of the civilizations that create them. What kind of world do we want to build? By looking at the adaptive, sustainable, and resource-efficient designs we imagine for alien societies, we're also reflecting on the kind of future we want for humanity. It's a call to action to think differently, to design cities that are not only functional but also meaningful places that cultivate connection, resilience, and harmony. This act of imagining does more than just transform the way we think about architecture. It brings us closer to understanding our potential as a species. After all, envisioning alien cities isn't just about looking outward into the unknown. It's about looking inward at our own ingenuity and rethinking what's possible for our world. So, as we explore the idea of alien architecture, we're also exploring the vast possibilities of our own future. And in doing so, we're taking one small step closer to understanding not only the universe but our place within it. As we come to the end of our journey through the extraordinary concept of alien cities, it's clear that what began as a thought experiment has led us to something much deeper. Imagining cities on other worlds allows us to stretch the boundaries of our creativity and challenge the limits of what we think is possible. By exploring how environment, biology, culture, technology, and sustainability intertwine to shape extraterrestrial architecture, we begin to see not only the diversity of possibilities that might exist beyond Earth, but also the incredible potential within ourselves. We've envisioned cities designed to float serenely above toxic atmospheres, structures that glow bioluminescent beneath endless oceans, and sprawling metropolises grown from living materials that respond to the changing needs of their inhabitants. These ideas aren't just fascinating, they're reflections of adaptability, ingenuity, and resilience. They show us how civilizations might rise to meet the challenges of their unique worlds, and they inspire us to imagine how we, too, might reshape our urban landscapes to better suit the planet we call home. Throughout this exploration, one theme has stood out: the profound connection between a civilization's identity and the spaces it creates. Alien cities might reflect their builders' physiology, with towering vertical landscapes for species that fly or labyrinthine hives for smaller communal beings. They might embody cultural values like unity, hierarchy, or artistic expression, with designs that inspire awe or foster connection. And with advanced technologies, they might seamlessly integrate with their environments, becoming part of a planet's ecosystem rather than an intrusion upon it. In every case, the architecture becomes a physical story, a reminder that cities are not just places to live, they are reflections of what a species values, believes in, and aspires to. But could humanity one day build cities inspired by these imagined alien worlds? As we stand on the brink of becoming an interplanetary species, the question isn't just whether we could make such cities a reality. It's how we should. As we dream of Martian colonies, floating habitats on Venus, or stations orbiting the moons of Jupiter, will we take lessons from these visions of alien architecture? Could these imagined cities offer a blueprint not just for survival in space, but for more sustainable, harmonious cities here on Earth? Perhaps the futuristic cities we're imagining out there hold the keys to solving the challenges we face in our own backyard. As we look to the stars, it's worth remembering the words of Carl Sagan. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. The universe, vast and unknown, isn't just a source of endless questions, it's also an infinite canvas for our imaginations. By daring to imagine alien worlds and the cities that might inhabit them, we take a small step closer to understanding not only the cosmos but ourselves. And just as every great city on Earth began as a bold vision in someone's mind, perhaps the cities of the future, both on this planet and beyond, are already taking shape in the dreams and ideas of visionaries like you. So, what would your alien city look like? Would it reflect the flowing designs of an ocean world, the adaptability of a high-gravity metropolis, or the shimmering artistry of a crystalline society? We'd love to hear your ideas, so share your visions of alien cities in the comments below. And if you're inspired to keep exploring the limitless possibilities of futuristic technology and imagination, be sure to subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. Together, we'll continue to push the boundaries of what's possible and explore the incredible intersections of science, technology, and creativity. The universe is vast, but so is human curiosity. Who knows, perhaps one day, as humanity ventures beyond Earth, the cities we create will stand alongside the stars as a testament to the power of imagination and the enduring spirit of invention. Until then, let's keep dreaming, because the future is only as big as the worlds we dare to imagine.